You guys got to take a look at this e-bike right here, the Mokwheel Obsidian ST in this Desert Camo with its aggressive fat tires, full suspension, and rugged build. This e-bike looks ready for anything, but does it actually perform as good as it looks, or is it just marketing hype? Today, we're gonna find out.
Let's start by going over some of the key features that make the Obsidian ST unique. Then we'll take this bike out on that test ride to check how it performs when it comes to speed, power, braking, and overall comfort. And I'll give you my final verdict on whether this e-bike is worth your money. Let's get into it. All right, powering that thing up there, nice bright LED display right here. When you jam on that throttle right there, that's gonna be driving this rear hub motor right there that gives you 1,000 watts of continuous power with 1,300 watts of peak power and up to 105 Newton meters of torque. And that's a lot of torque for an e-bike, which means this bike should perform amazing right off the line, climb those hills with ease, but we'll definitely put that to the test a little bit later in this video like you saw when we get out on that ride. Driving that rear hub motor, we got a 48 volt 940 watt hour battery. This thing's got all the UL safety certifications you could possibly want, and it claims up to 60 to 80 miles of range. But I'll put that to the test a little bit later in this video. Now the battery can be charged in 3 different ways. You can remove the battery and charge it off the bike, or you can keep the battery in the bike and charge it using this charging port right here with the charger that comes with the bike. Another cool feature this bike has though is that third way to charge it, which is this extra port right here that you use the Mokwheel 1000 watt inverter you can get on the website, which then allows you to not only recharge the bike, but also plug any additional like cell phones or other devices you might want to charge up. And this also allows you to charge the bike using solar panels, which is pretty dang cool for you more adventurous riders. I've got links down in the video description down there to all this stuff if you guys want to check it out. So head over to the Mokwheel site if you guys want to see what I'm talking about. Now this bike is rolling on 26-inch rims with nice, fat, beefy 4-inch tires on there, which should give you plenty of comfort and support. Another cool feature on these is you see this white little band right here. That's also reflective, which is just going to give you a little bit more protection if you're riding on the road so cars can see you just a little bit easier. Now for the brakes, you got these Tektro hydraulic brakes, which is cool. Hydraulic brakes with rotors and metallic pads. It actually comes with an extra set of brake pads, which is pretty awesome because e-bikes will tend to wear through those being a little bit heavier. These calipers, these brake levers right here, they look pretty good too. You can see right there the hydraulic hose that runs into them to provide that hydraulic braking power. There's also an additional cable right here that allows the bike to sense when you're applying that braking power as well. You can see the hydraulic line that runs back there into a hydraulic brake caliper. You got the metal rotors on there. These are Tektro. You can see the 180, 180 millimeter rotors. We'll see how this bike stops and how those brakes perform a little bit later in this video when I get to the ride and review on this bike. Now this is a full suspension bike, so you can see the suspension fork up front right there. It's got adjustments to be able to lock that fork all the way out or open it back up depending on what type of riding you're doing. That is a coil shock, so it's gonna have an adjustment on the other side. You can tighten down to kind of adjust the overall compression of that shock. And then on the back here, this is actually an air rear shock. So you got the valve right here that you open up this little red cap. I went ahead and I pumped that up to 150 PSI based off my body weight, and that got me about the right amount of a sag or adjustment in that shock right there. But this thing also has compression switch right here, which you can use to lock the shock out. Be a little bit better for those uphill climbs. Flip it that way, it's going to open it back up. And then it's also got the rebound adjustment on it right there. That's going to allow you to adjust the rebound on this bike, which is when that shock compresses, the rebound is how quick it rebounds or opens back up. That's going to help you fine tune this rear shock and get this bike riding comfortable and good depending on the type of terrain or the type of riding you're doing. Now for the drivetrain on this bike, you can see right there, it's got the 8-speed Shimano Atlas drivetrain. So, 8 gears on the back right here for you to shift to. Should give you all of the range you need. And you got this massive, right here, sprocket up in the front, or this chain ring up here in the front to really help you drive that power. Another thing that's cool about this bike is it actually has a torque sensor. That means the harder you press on those pedals right there, the more power is going to be put out from that super powerful 1000-watt motor. And you can see up here on the shifting, let's try and get that in the light just a little bit better. You can see the 1 through the 8 right there on the Shimano shifter. So that's going to allow you to know exactly what gear you're in as you're shifting up and down through those gears right there. Another cool feature this bike has is it has actually a hydraulic, kind of like dropper post seat. So you can see right there, pull that, it goes up, lift it up, put your weight into it. It's going to be a little easier when you're sitting on the bike. Throw your weight into it and you can drop that thing back down. What that's going to allow you to do is get that seat set up right to your right height for when you're pedaling, to get that right height for your legs for pedaling. And then if you want to head back downhill, you can just drop that seat back down, get the seat a little bit out of your way, give you a little bit more comfort. Really going to be helpful for like off-road scenarios when you're trying to really maneuver this bike and get that seat kind of out of the way. On the back of that seat right there, you got the tail light on there. So let's get that thing powered on. You can see just like your standard red light, and it's got a couple different modes. It'll go through brighter light, some strobe settings, give you all those kind of features you're going to want to keep you safe on the road. You combine that rear light right there with those reflective tires, and of course this bike has a headlight on the front. Got the headlight on there, putting out some watts. You can adjust that, of course, up and down. And you got that headlight, you got that tail light, got those reflective tires, all the conveniences, all the safety features to get you out on the road, on or off-road, riding this bike, having a ton of fun. Speaking of the ride, let's get out on the trails and see if all those features actually perform and actually give you what you want. Is this just marketing hype, or is this all come together, this complete package, to make an amazing e-bike that's actually worth your money?
All right, so now we're gonna take this bike out on a real world test. So we're gonna test 4 different things right now. First, we're gonna do a power test. The power test is really, you're gonna do like a throttle versus pedal assist and see just how quick this bike gets up to speed. Then we're gonna do a hill climb test. We're gonna test how this bike climbs uphill. And I also found a little spot over here that's got like some off-road trails. So we'll kind of do a hill climb test and an off-road test, both combined in one. Then moving on from there, we'll do a max speed test to see how fast this bike can actually go, what's the top speed. From there, we'll move on to a braking test. We'll test how good this bike slows back down. And then finally, we'll go over some things like the basic suspension and the shifting on this bike to try and cover all the important features of this Obsidian ST e-bike. All right, out on the trails, not messing around. We're gonna start with the power test. So you can see right here, I got the thumb controller on the left, got the display right there. When I go ahead and go through the different power modes, you got power level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different power levels. We're gonna start down in power level number 1 right there. And we're gonna start off with just the throttle right there and see how quick this thing gets up to speed. And remember, we got that 1000-watt motor back there with 1300 peak watts of power, so it should have plenty of power. Let's start power level 1. Not pedaling at all. Getting up to 15, 16, 18, and this is going uphill, 19, 20 miles per hour, topped out at 20 miles per hour. All right, let's quit messing around. Power level 3, right? 4 is gonna be a little bit more acceleration. Let's just go ahead and get right up to power level 5 right here. Boom, where's the 5? There we go, power level 5. Definitely feeling it pull up this hill right here. Up to 20 miles per hour already. just under. There you go, hitting 20. And those brakes are slowing me right back down again. Found the horn. We got a horn, folks. All right, I think I just found a spot to do a hill climb test and some off-road riding. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. All right. Been lugging this bike around in the back of my truck, so the front fender is getting a little bit warped. Gonna have to pay attention to that. Don't want it rubbing on the tire. All right, let's go ahead. Gonna go up to power level 5 and see how good this thing climbs up the hill, throttle only. No pedaling. All right, got that incline starting. Easily taking me up this hill. I felt a little bit of a power lag right there. But this is throttle only, remember, that's throttle only. Now if I start pedaling, and I'm going up the hill, flying up this thing pedaling. Woo! Okay, so for that hill challenge, like I was saying, when you're doing the throttle only, you can feel the bike start to get bogged down slightly, but when you're pedaling, using that pedal assist mode, this thing is flying up the hill, going faster than I even felt comfortable riding with one hand. So how does that 1,000-watt motor perform? How does that 105 newton meters of torque kick in? I would say it performs really good if you're gonna pedal it using your feet. If you're gonna be a little bit lazier and just use the throttle right here with your thumb, you're gonna get a tiny bit of lag out of this, but it still got me up. Wanted to redo it again with like both hands on. I was easily hitting 20 miles per hour, pedaling uphill right there, so plenty of torque, plenty of power. All right, so now it's time for a max speed test. Got this flat road right here. Throttle assist mode, as we saw, it limits you at 20 miles per hour. Pedal assist mode, I think it's gonna allow me to go a lot faster. How much faster? Let's find out. Power level 5, pedaling, pedal assist mode. Let's test those brakes, slow them back down. Front brake only. All right, so max speed right there, up over 30 miles per hour. Now it's time to do the braking test. Put these Tektro brakes to the test. See how those 2-piston brakes work and if they'll slow me back down. I'm out here on the road. I'm gonna use these lines right here. I'm gonna be hitting my brakes right here at this first white line and seeing if I can stop by the time I get to the end of this parking line right here. Getting up to speed. Stopped right at that line. Slid a little bit. It's a little bit wet out, but brakes definitely had plenty enough stopping power right there. Using the front and rear brakes when I was stopping easily brought me to a stop before that white line right there. So braking power is good. All right, we're gonna just do a real quick shifting test. Starting in the 1, I'm gonna shift all the way up through gear 8 real quick right here in front of you guys. This is Shimano shifting, so you expect it to shift smooth. Let's test it out real quick. Starting off 1. Shifted all the way up through all 8 gears right there. You can see right there, now it's on the 8, and I was in the power level 2. Shifted all the way up 1 through 8. A little bit of clunkiness if you shift and you're pedaling a little bit too hard at the same time, but for what you're getting and for what you'd expect out of an e-bike like this, it was shifting smooth, have no issues. All right, it's time to put the suspension to the test. Got a little extreme challenge here. Should you ride your e-bike downstairs like that? Probably not. I'll double check all the bolts on this, but suspension was working good. Bombing down those stairs right there. I got one more stair challenge. Let's try that again. All right, let's talk real quick about the range on this bike. So I've been riding this bike, testing it over a couple days now. Today we're on day 2. I actually charged it on the very first day in my ice cold garage. Got that thing up to full 100% battery power. From there, I've been putting it over, 2 different days of riding. And this battery right here, you can see the range is still fully in the green. I don't even think it's at 90% yet. So Mokwheel claims 60 to 80 miles of range for this e-bike. And based on the tests I've done so far, I have no reason to doubt those claimed ranges that they got. All right, so final verdict. What do I think about this e-bike? Is it the right one for you? The Mokwheel Obsidian ST really surprised me. It ticks all the boxes from power, speed, range, and comfort. Plus it offers some cool features you don't usually see on bikes like this. The option to add that 1,000-watt inverter and charge your bike with solar powers is pretty dang cool. So if you want a truly capable all-terrain e-bike that feels stable at high speeds, brakes, slows you down safely, got that adjustable suspension, and looks like a beast, then this could be a solid choice for you. Would I recommend it? Well, if you're looking for the e-bike that can handle some serious adventures, giving you ample power, full suspension setup that will take you far beyond those average pavement and gravel trails, then yes. But if you're looking for something that's ultra light, or you just need a simple bike that can handle those average commuter style rides, then this might not be the e-bike for you. Definitely not light. Definitely not a bike you're gonna be throwing over your shoulder. Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this e-bike review, hit that like button, subscribe for more content just like this.